Good evening, everybody. It's 8 o'clock on Monday night, and it's the night after the morning before, if you like. It's the first Ashes test review. Hopefully you guys are good, and are looking forward to a little bit of a discussion. We did this before the Ashes, where we talked about the squad announcement, if you like. And yeah, we're just going to see how this goes. We're going to be doing them for each of the tests with TIJ, Toby himself. Say hello.
Evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? But, well, it should be an interesting one. We're going to talk for a little bit about the test ourselves. Are there any questions that you guys have got? It's either, I think it's that side of the webcam somewhere, or it might be, no, it's that side actually. You can leave your comments anyway, and make sure you use the hashtag AshesQ&A to leave your questions down below.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of interaction in the chat would be great. We're just going to share our thoughts and opinions. I'm going to be honest, I didn't actually see much of the first test. I was very busy this weekend. I did try and check out the highlights, and I kept up with it on the app and stuff. So, you know, I'm relying on Toby a little bit for the details of it. But we've already got some interaction in the chat there. Good evening.
We've got 11 people watching. I've just tried to illustrate to the camera. But yeah.
There you go. Get a trade on Twitter, Toby. Go on.
All right.
Yeah, so good evening to Jamie. Good evening Lucas and Dylan and Bellix, all stream regulars. Good evening to all of yous, and hopefully we can have a nice little chat about the first test. So first and foremost, we lost the first test, which I'm not surprised about.
No.
I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys in the chat as well. We do have a first question of the night, just to get things going. We're not gonna answer all the questions straight away, but we've got the great Jamie asking what should be done if Cook continues to not perform. So we'll keep that question in mind as we're talking about things, because we kind of need to analyse player performances and analyse England's performance and Australia's performance and all of that before we get into questions. But that is the first question of the night. If you do want to ask a question, use the hashtag AshesQ&A in the chat, and we'll hopefully pick up on it. So yeah, first day, England batted first. What did you think of that decision, batting first in the Ashes series?
I think it's always wise, to be quite honest. You know, potentially build up a big lead. I know it didn't happen, but we were 302 all out. We had a decent start. The thing that pleased me the most, okay, Cook only got 2, but fair enough. You know, it's Australia. These sort of things happen to the best batsmen, even Kevin Peterson. But Mark Stoneman and James Finch played really well. You know, Stoneman getting 53 and Vince getting 83. Vince obviously having a much better strike rate, but still, Stoneman scoring some good runs, and really, it wasn't too bad an innings. There was a few underperformers, likes of Cook, Bairstow only 9, and Wokes who a duck. But at the end of the day, these things happen. Everyone can't be on their best, not necessarily behaviour, but performance in their first innings. But I'd say probably star of that innings was definitely James Vince. And yeah, we played well. It was quite a balanced first innings, really, because we got just over 300, and they only led by 26. It was only when the second innings came around that it went disastrously, to be quite honest. Yeah,
definitely. I think it was a little bit worrying early on, though, how within the first sort of 10 minutes Cook was gone, and I was thinking, oh, you know, and then you had sort of Vince coming to the crease very early, which I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have wanted to do. All of the pressure's kind of been put on him over the sort of selection. If anybody's selection has been questioned, it has been James Vince, and fair play to him. Him and Stoneman put together a really good partnership. They set us up nicely. I think they put on 125 for the second wicket, so that was quite a decent partnership for your first Ashes match. And
definitely, yeah.
I think Stoneman did all right. He only scored 3 fours in that 53, but yeah, who cares? If we're getting the runs on the board. I think Root underperformed, but you know, anybody can get out LBW. You know, it's what happens. But I think the point about the first innings for me was that all of the players that we kind of doubted going into it seemed to step up and perform, whereas the ones you expect to perform didn't really turn up. And
Yeah.
you know, it's just the way it works. We've got a lot of interaction in the chat. I don't know whether you want to read out some of the comments for now.
Well, one did make me smile, in particular, of course. Belix1 asking, "Isn't Joe a huge Cook fan?" And to that answer, absolutely. The favourite cricketer of Joe's is definitely Cook. The one thing I'd like to kind of look at first is from Cricket Chat, who I believe actually retweeted the tweet for the streams. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you.
Them. They asked with the hashtag Ashes Q&A, would you bring in Overton over Ball? And personally, I wouldn't. I think Ball is genuinely a decent player. Obviously, at his first Ashes, and he had a bit of a poor batting performance. I don't really think he was given too much of a chance bowling-wise. He was given 18 overs compared to the other bowlers who had at least 24, and it was the same. Yeah, it was the same in the second innings, with Ball given a little bit less than the other bowlers. But he took a wicket in the first innings, and yeah, I don't think he did too badly. And of course, that wicket was of David Warner, so a very respected wicket. But you know, who knows? I think with this series, I said from the start we were going to get whitewashed. Maybe not so now. It doesn't look like Australia are that strong. But if it does come to a case in sort of like the 4th or 5th test that we have lost, and it'd be a shame, of course. But then I'd say yes, because you have got to rotate. You've got to see who the best players are, and really players that are playing for their spot as a regular in the England team. You know, you've probably got 6, 7 regulars, but you've got those 4 spots that can be very interchangeable, and Craig Overton absolutely could come in for Jake Ball in the future. But I don't know, what do you think, Joe? Do you think Jake Ball's better than Overton?
I don't know. I think they're both untested at the moment, and yeah. Well, there you go. That's what you get on this channel. Some lovely puns. Well, how many people have we got watching? I'm seeing a lot of different names. That's really good. Yeah. Thank you for coming along. It was a pretty late notice kind of thing. Short notice. That's the word I'm looking for, or the words. Because I didn't schedule this till about 6 o'clock tonight. So, can Toby speak up? Well, I'll turn him up a bit. It might be me.
Hello.
Hopefully he's blasted your ears off there.
Yeah.
I do just want to read a few of the comments out. Hello to Jugath. Also, Dylan asks who did the best. I'm assuming player-wise rather than team-wise, because I think that's fairly obvious. Great Jamie was saying about the second innings. We'll come back to that a little bit later. If only Wokes won't be made the scapegoat once again. Yeah, I didn't really hear much about Wokes in this test. I don't know how he did particularly. I think he just kept himself to himself. Trainspotter said the English top batting order overall didn't score well enough to keep us competitive. More or less 2 batting collapses is worrying. Obviously, Bellick said, "Isn't Joe a huge Cook fan?" Of course I am. So Great Jamie's got some player ratings. Cook equals 1, poor performance, disgraceful apparently. Stoneman 6, did well in the first innings, awful in the second, though it was a good ball and it's only his 4th test match. That's crazy that it's only his 4th actually. Were you impressed with Root's attitude and captaincy? I'll let you answer that one. Isaac, jealous evening. If Ben Stokes was available, who would you take out of the team? That's a very interesting one to answer soon, I think. Sahil says that his prediction of the Aussies winning has come true. It has indeed, so is mine. This is difficult. What did I think of Milan? I thought he did alright, actually. I didn't expect him to. Any other comments that you've seen that you want to read out, Toby?
We've got a comment saying, can England fight back in upcoming matches? And I mean, absolutely. I don't think it's over by any stretch of the imagination. It's we'll talk about that a little bit later, but as a short answer, yes, definitely. Did you see the Sky interview with Bancroft? I don't quite get that story, so I'm not really going to comment on it because it's been quite limited in terms of what's going to happen. And again, did the Aussies try to make England react to the Bairstow incident? I don't quite know what's happened there. So, and I think Great Jamie is saying ball 1 is a bit just slightly harsh. You know, he did take a wicket. I'm not gonna can't even think what I'm gonna say. And oh, there we go, Joe taking a drink on the YouTube preview. Hope it's not alcoholic. But anyway, but yeah, I think 1 is a little bit harsh to say the least, but he did okay. And who did the best in the first test, as Dylan asks? I have to say, purely on that 83, James Vince, I think. And Chris Barber saying it'll be a whitewash. Well, maybe. I predicted that before the start of the series, but the Australia squad isn't that good, to be honest. And there we go. What do you guys make of the BT team? I've only been watching the highlights. I quite like Boycott as a pundit, to be quite honest. I don't think there's much wrong with him. I mean, it's just your personal preference, to be quite honest. I mean, you know, we have quite a difference in opinion about Kevin Peterson, but you know, we won't discuss that one too much. But I think the BT team's good. It's just a shame, really, it's not on Sky anymore. What happens if Anderson gets injured? Bring Stokes in. I think the big thing is, if we bought Stokes in, we'd be a lot better off. You know, that's obvious. It's just that it's been so controversial with what's happened that I don't think he will be coming in. And yeah, exactly as Ben says, Ball did get Warner out at least. You know, at least there. He wasn't completely mugged. And what about this? I know you're a decent fan of Balance, I believe. I believe you rate him a little bit. With Isaac saying, you know, he thinks Balance would be in the squad as a 40 average for England. Do you agree with that?
Before the series, I'd say yes, but then who does he come in? Who does he come in for now? You can't drop Cook, you can't drop Root, and you can't drop Bairstow. They're the 3 underperforming batsmen. Who do you bring him in for? You know, like.
I think if there had to be one scapegoat, it'd probably be Milan, because you know he did well in the first innings, fair enough, but he's one of those that. But then again, I don't think Gary Balance is someone that he has to have a place. You know, and if Ben Stokes flew over, you would make all the provisions possible to get him out, you know, get someone out of the squad and put him in. But because Balance is one of those that's quite inconsistent as well, it's going to be quite tricky. And there we go. Do you think more experienced backup bowlers like Mark Wood, Finn? I think very much Wood's a more one-day bowler, but I don't know about Finn. Finn's been a little bit disappointing, I think. And from memory, well, he hasn't played too much recently. I mean, I suppose you could get Monty Panesar in, but I don't think he'd be very good now. But yeah, if we're going for experience, Monty Panesar absolutely. Rashid needs to come in. Well, I know someone who hates Rashid. I don't very much doubt he's watching, but
How dare you? Everybody's watching this. Come on.
Not my granddad. Rashid's one of those players that he's not too brilliant a bowler, but in one-day matches, the batsmen swing at it, so he does get them out. He bowls decently, but there we go. Points Bellix, you know, he bowls at least 2 bad balls and over. I haven't watched too much of him, but I'd probably agree with that. But yeah, it was an interesting first test. I think we've got to review more of the test rather than specific player
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the person that won them that match was Steve Smith. He's just unstoppable. He's 141 off 512 balls, and without him, they'd have been pretty much in the same situation as us. So, you know, it's not like they whooped us in this. I mean, they won us. They beat us by 10 wickets. And cheers, Paul. Hello. All right, cautious, Paul.
Evening, cautious.
I can stop moderating now, but. I think with Australia, they weren't as good as it might have perceived them to be. They weren't fantastic. At the end of the day, Bancroft had a poor first innings. Stark had a poor first innings. Khawaja had a poor first innings. So you can't just use the England players as scapegoats. It's very much in this game that there were individuals that saved both teams. I mean, in the second innings, it was just Root, Moeen and Bairstow, and to a degree, Stoneman, and obviously Wokes where they were the only players who got out of single figures. And, you know, the same goes for Australia. There was only sort of 2 batsmen that got above 26, 27. So it's not all like it seems. And it's tricky, isn't it? Because I don't think their team is too good. So it's all about the situation. If they bat first and have a terrible innings, then we can pounce. But the trouble is with England, we seem to have, and I'd like to get this interest in the comments. Why do you think we have so many batting collapses? Is it just because we haven't got the depth in the mid-order? You know, back a few years ago, we had the number 3, Jonathan Trott, solid number 3. Do you guys think it's the number 3 that's the problem? Or do you think it's a little bit lower down the order? Because I don't think it is lower down the order. We've got Bairstow and Ali who can be solid. And I think in the second innings, they pretty much nearly got 100 partnership, give or take 20 or 30 runs. But be interesting to see in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think it's the number 3 that we need? No mid-lord, that's an interesting comment. But I'll have a look through a few more comments. And there we go. Ali's absolutely solid. Do you think the rumours are true that Stokes are playing the Perth tests? I'm not a journalist, am I? But what do you think, CGS? No, I'm never going to utter those 3 letters. It's disgusting. But Ben Stokes, I'd love him to play, but as I say, I'm not a journalist, so I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
About Ben Stokes or just the game in general?
Well, whatever you want to talk about. Great country.
Ben Stokes, no, he won't play the series. I don't think. I think he's better than Jimmy Anderson. No, he's not. He's not as good as Jimmy Anderson. That's what I was going to say. Somebody asked that before when the chat was just like a machine gun. No, a lot of interesting thoughts there. Going back to what you were saying about the sort of middle order, it's something that we've had for absolutely years. Since sort of Ian Bell went, we haven't really had a solid number 5. You know, Root's now elevated into that 4 position. He doesn't seem to want to move to 3 or anything. So, you know, hopefully Vince will prove us wrong and become a very good number 3. But it's gonna be interesting to see how we do the rest of the series. Going back to sort of reviewing the test itself, obviously we talked about the first innings with England. The Australian first innings, as you were saying, we had them on the back foot really, didn't we? Until Steve Smith sort of stuck at it. I think Sean Marsh had a good innings, 51 from 169. So that was obviously a key partnership. We had them at 76 for 4, and then with Sean Marsh was up to 175 for 5, which is still, you know, we could have skittled them and they could have been out for 220, 230, and we would have had a 71st innings lead, and it's a totally different match then, because, you know, even in the last innings, Australia would have needed 250 to win, which is, you know, a little bit harder to get than 173 or whatever it ended up being. But we need to certainly work on mopping up the tail. I think that's one thing. I don't really know why Root was bowling at the end. I know he got lying out eventually, but why are you bowling Joe Root? I mean, it was obviously his decision to have a bowl, but I don't think that was necessarily the best decision. But Anderson, wickets-wise, got 2. Broad got 3. It's about what you expect. Moore and Ali got 2 as well. So with 3 sort of star bowlers did all right. And then Walks, Ball and Root got 1. But interestingly, Ball's economy rate was by far the most expensive, 4.28 and over for him. Everybody else is 2 or under. So, you know, I can see arguments about Ball not being as good as he's made out to be, but he got Warner out at the end of the day. That's a key wicket in my opinion, because Warner can take the game away from you. I think that was I think that's enough reason to give him another test.
Yeah.
So they got 328 all out, a first innings lead of 26. Game was well in the balance. Not Gary balance, but you know.
I think the thing is with us that we haven't got the options. That's the problem. We've got a few players that are waiting for call-ups. We haven't got that massive players in the pool really that I've seen. We've had a suggestion from Cricket Chat that Luke Wells at Sussex should get a look to bat at number 3. Let's have a look at Luke Wells in terms of his stats. I've never heard of him personally. Anyone you come across in Cricket Captain ever, Joe?
No, but you know me, I stick to the old boys, so you know.
Yeah, there we go. 26, an average in first class of 38, 1700s. But I think it's important to point out that first class is a massive difference to Ashes and proper Test matches. the game was well in the Gary. Joe Hannard, brilliant. And there we go, another fancy pants headline. In surprise move, Joe Hannard to open with Stoneman in next test. Any comments about that?
Well, if they want us, I'm available. You know, they'll have to be quick though, because I'll have to get the boat because I don't like flying. So, Stoneman being the most promising as he can bat for a long time. I don't know. I think he's unproven at test level. We'll see what he's like in the second test. I don't know where the second test is, but I know we're expecting to do well in Adelaide. So whenever that is, that's where we're expecting. I think it's Perth next.
Let's put a question to the comments talking about openers. If you're not completely enamoured with Stoneman, do you guys think that Ali should be given a chance at opener? Because Ali is one of those players that plays wherever he wants. It not obviously plays wherever he wants, but he will suit wherever he is. If he's first player, he will play like an opener. If he's last, he'll give it a good smash. If he's in the middle of the field, he'll, sort of give it a mix of the two. He's very adaptable, is Ali, and do you think he ought to be given a chance at first or not? And I think that's Joe shaking his head.
Yeah, no, I disagree, personally. I think Ali has had a chance at opening. He didn't do well enough. And, I think he's too valuable a player down the order to waste opening the baton. I think Stoneman did a good job in the first test. I think he's been the best sort of option we've went for as opener for quite a while. So yeah, I don't really know how Ali would do any better, and then you lose the sort of 30-40 runs that you get from the tail, because how do you replace that? I guess if Ben Stokes got back into the squad, then you've got a different scenario, but at the moment I think Ali's needed it at 6, personally, or 7 or wherever he plays. There's some people talking about Sam Northeast out there. He's certainly good in cricket captain. I don't know what he's like in real life. Liam Livingston again. But surely these players are a little bit young to be thrown into their test debuts in the Ashes. Like I don't think we've had a debutant in the Ashes squad, as far as I know. Ball maybe. I don't know. I feel like he played some international games.
He did. I think he played
against who? India.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Adelaide is the next match according to Rivlud. Big hello to Rivlud, the channel patron, of course. How are you doing? Hope you're enjoying the Ashes so far. Should we use more Essex players as they won the county championship? It's a totally different game at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Ali is a poor opener apparently and doesn't need to be unsettled by moving. I agree with you. Jack Leach should have been chosen. I don't know too much about him. Adelaide day and night are next. Ooh. So that's another interesting thing. I don't know if Australia have had any experience with day and night tests.
We certainly have, haven't we?
Yeah, we had one against the West Indies. They won't change Cook and Stoneman. I reckon they'll be opening for the rest of the series unless one of them gets injured or Stoneman gets 2 ducks in the next game, I think. And also, who do you replace him with? I honestly don't think they'd ever go for Ali.
But Jennings in there, that worked.
Yeah, but Jennings isn't on the tour, so...
Jennings will never play Test cricket again, seriously. And if he does, I won't watch it. Keaton Jennings, let's go on a real rant now. Keaton Jennings is the worst cricketer I have ever watched. He's absolutely awful. He practically goes for an LBW. I mean, I know he's a bowler, but Christ, he doesn't have to bat like one. He stresses me out because his movement is nothing like it should be. It's frightening, to be quite honest. When we played against, was it South Africa in the summer?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He was just shocking. And with Cook being a bit inconsistent, we could have been down to 15 for 2 with that. So I'm not prepared to bring Keaton Jennings back at all. Ben Duckett maybe, but I don't know really about openers. I think particularly openers we are okay with now. We've got Stoneman. Stoneman looks solid on this tour. That's all that matters for the moment. We've got him. The only thing I would have a look at is that number 3. Obviously, we've got... oh, wow. Last match, every player was born in England. What a stat. Wow.
What, the Australians as well? No, I'm only joking. Only joking.
Probably because Kevin Peterson was there every blooming other time. But
well, Keaton Jennings is South African, isn't he?
yeah. Bring KP back, and I'll tell you what. If you mention KP again in a positive light, I'm gonna have to block you.
So you move Joe Root up to open and Kevin Peterson back at 4. That's what I would say.
We could take my advice and call up Jennings. I'm glad you see the bright side of my rant. But yeah, I don't like Jennings. I think it's fair to say that. Jennings never playing again. Strong statement. Duckett's garbage. What about Hamid then? Hamid looked alright, didn't he? Before he broke his finger, he couldn't come out. But I don't think we need to talk about openers too much. I think it's very much... We've got a decent amount of bowlers. I mean, what do you guys think about... Do you think Ali's a good enough spinner? I mean, they've got Lyon, haven't they? He's a fantastic spinner. No doubt about that. And Ali's a good spinner. But is he as good as Graham Swan? I hate to keep sort of reviewing the last sort of batch of players. You know, we had Andrew Strauss. And ever since Strauss has gone, really, we've struggled to find a solid opener. And apparently, yeah, according to Rivlug, Cook's gone, to be honest. I don't think he'll ever rediscover that form. Cook's one of those players.
I think that's harsh.
I think with Cook, I think you've just got to have him in the squad because he's got the potential to get any player who has the potential to do it should be in the squad. But as I said before, Jennings has not got that potential. Simple as.
With Cook though, like yes, he's had a bad game, and I don't know if his summer was that good. But if you drop Cook, then you're having Stoneman as your senior opening batsman. We're talking already about the fact that there's no other options after Stoneman, pretty much. And if you drop Cook, then it's sort of I don't know.
We don't want any more change or any more drop. That's the thing. I think we've got to keep it decently static and maybe make 1 or 2 changes a game rather than they've made 8 changes. Well, if we get smashed, that's absolutely fair enough. But the first Test match as a marker, we did well. Apart from that slight, not embarrassment, but it was a slight. It was bizarre, that innings wasn't. It wasn't a complete collapse because at the end of the day in that innings you had Moeen, Bairstow, and Root all getting above 40, but then you had the likes of Vince and Milan who only got a maximum of 2 and 4. So those sort of things happen. But
that's the thing with England innings. I feel like we either start really sluggishly and have a good middle order sort of, stabilisation, or we get off to a really good start and then get skilled. I don't know when the last time that England scored 500 runs in an innings.
Yeah.
It might be against the West Indies, but that doesn't count. Against a good solid side, don't know if they did against South Africa, they may well have, but I don't know. There's too many players that get good starts and don't make the most of it, and then there's too many players that get out in the single figures. I think that's the thing we have to get over. Turning sort of the 2s into 30s and the 50s into 100s is going to be the key to us winning this Ashes, I think. They will keep Cook until he wants to retire. I agree. Unless he has a horrific drop in form, then I think that'll be the case. I think Cook will retire from all forms of cricket once he gets dropped from England. I don't think
he plays Test, doesn't he, now? He doesn't play...
Yeah, but I mean, he plays for Essex now and again, doesn't he? So it's whether he went back to that. I don't think he would. He's got nothing really to gain from that, which is why the likes of Kevin Peterson, once their international careers were over, they went and played over in India and Australia and all those countries around the world where you have the 2020 leagues. And Cook isn't that type of player. So once tests are over for him, it's pretty much curtains for his career, isn't it? So I don't know. No one can replace Cook. The guy wins games. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I think that the Cook discussion is once we have him in 12, 18 months' time. I don't think he needs facing out just yet. We don't.
No.
There's not someone chomping at the bit for that place. If someone's chomping at the bit and doing fantastically, i.e., if Stoneman starts playing really well and can prove himself to be really well, then yes, he can be a leading opener, and we can sort of phase Cook out and try to find another opener. But as you said earlier, Joe, you've got the danger of if Cook goes, Stoneman's quite inconsistent, and that's going to be inevitable with anyone who's just coming into the England international game. And if you've got two openers that are a bit shoddy and all that, you're going to be having your 3 and 4s coming in early. They're going to be a bit unsettled. And amazingly, really, that has an effect on the whole squad. And it's not just the openers; it has an effect on the whole innings. Players are under more pressure, coming in with less on the scorecard. They feel pressure to have a good innings. And, Vince did that. Vince did that with an 83, and Stoneman did that with 53, and Milan did that with a 56. But the debate is, are these innings just... do they show that the players have got the potential, or were they just lucky? I mean, look at the Milan. He got 11 fours on that 56 innings. So, if you work that out, even if you scored every one he got, so that's 12 balls. I mean, that's, so that's 23. 107 balls, he didn't get anything. So, the fact he got 11 fours, is that really good enough? He got his 50 fair enough, but is that too slow? And, I don't know, but...
I'm just laughing at some of the chat, saying Michael Fogden and Dominic Wood, the legends from My Cricket Captain Save, if only they were real, it would... Yeah. It would be fun. Hamid is getting a lot of calls in the chat to replace Cook. I think Hamid had a really bad county season this year. I don't really, and that's why he's not in the squad.
Oh, hallelujah!
Right, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Hold the fort.
Oh, all right, okay, all right. I'll hold it. But someone, evening Dan, mentioning Alex Hales. Very good mention. I like Alex Hales. He's a good player. I just think at the moment we've got Stoneman in the team, we've got Cook, and he's never going to be back, is he? Should we just right, guys? What you need to do: unsubscribe from Joe's channel, hop over to mine, give mine all this. No, I'm joking. We'll actually do a bit of a plug here for Joe's channel. Why not? All the links are down in the description. You can donate to Joe's stream. Oh, he's back. I mean, I was just in the middle of a plug, but whatever. But you can donate to the stream, become a Patreon to the channel, and there's a lot. I've just seen him. He's got his lovely pajama bottoms on.
They're not pajamas.
You can. All right. You can become a patron to the channel if you what's the word? If you pledge $1 a month, you get a warm thank you in a personally written email from Joe, and a shout out in one of the videos from your favourite series. And for £5, you get membership into the Captain Goodspeed Club.
That all needs updating. That all needs updating. I don't know. I don't really know what your rewards would be, but it would be really appreciated. Yeah. I'm just trying to sell me PS4, me normal PS4, not me PS4 Pro, of course, which will go on the Black Friday sales. But if you do want to donate to the channel, there's a link in the description. I know you've already done this plug, Toby, but it would be appreciated. We've got the donation bar under me, I think. Yeah. And obviously Rivload has been a very kind donator to that, so thank you very much. Totally got sidetracked there. Anyway, so we were talking about Hamid, I think. And we were saying...
And Alex Hales was mentioned as well.
Yeah, Hales. I'm not sure. Certainly not an opener. I think, if anything, he would play the sort of Stokes role down the order where he just has a whack. But then he doesn't add anything else to the side, do you know what I mean? So, we've got a lot of good all-round players at the moment, which is something that we've got going for us. Cautious Paul says he thinks Stokes has needed his impact on the whole team. Yeah, I agree, but at the end of the day, if England pick Stokes now, bring him into the squad with all of this controversy about him, I think it's going to have a bad impact on the media side of England, and there'll be a lot of stuff said in the papers about it, and I think it's unnecessary pressure for the England side right now. I agree, I think we need him to perform well in the Ashes, but I don't think it's the right decision, because I think it would just cause more bother than it's probably worth.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I agree with that. It's just a shame what's happened, to be quite honest, and it's like all forms of sport sometimes. Unfortunately, media controversy comes first, and let's not talk about the media in sport, because, well, let's just not. But we'll answer a few more of your questions, guys. We don't intend to make this an all-night thing. At the end of the day, we've all got beds to get to. Mine's just there, you know. I can get to bed now if I wanted to. But we'll answer a few more questions, and I think we'll call it a night. We are going to be doing reviews for every single one of these. So if you have enjoyed this one, we'll be doing a review on every single one. So any improvements, leave them down in the comments, all that sort of thing. And also the stream is going to be live on YouTube as well after this. So, well, not live, it's already live, but it's going to be live on Joe's YouTube page, if that makes sense. It's going to be. It's not
going to be live. It's just going to be posted on the page after. Published. There you go. But there was briefly 26 people watching. It's gone down to 23. We've got 13 likes. That means at least 10 of yous out there haven't left a like down below. So we would really appreciate it if you hit that like button and let us know that you are enjoying it. I'm assuming because we haven't got any dislikes, nobody's disliking it at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to get 13 dislikes now. But we'll answer a few more of your questions. Obviously, you guys can have a chat amongst yourselves as well once the stream's over, because I think the chat stays open. We'll probably go for another 5-10 minutes, something like that. We'll have a little bit of a debate. The peak has been 26, so that was the peak when I seen it before. Anyway, still waiting to hear Captain Goodspeed's thoughts on the first test. Yeah, no, I've just been waiting patiently, Paul. Waiting patiently. Yeah. As I said right at the start, I didn't actually see too much of the first test, so I have been letting Toby lead it a bit, because he's probably been keeping up to date with it more than me. But my thoughts are that it's just classic England, really, isn't it? You know, we set ourselves up. Look at him. Look at him. He's given us the thumbs down. I think it's classic England. We set ourselves up, and then we kind of threw it away. But we could have turned it around in that fourth innings, but not getting a wicket was a bit disappointing. Oops, I'm doing something with me memory stick that I shouldn't be, and it's making all sorts of noises on the computer. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I think England can get back into it, but we've just got to try turn those single figure scores into 20s and 30s, and I think that'll be the key. Who do you think will be England's leading wicket taker and leading run scorer in the series? That's a really good question, Cricket Chat. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll go first. I think leading wicket taker will be James Anderson, and I think leading run scorer will be James Vince. I know
really?
I know that's a bit of a surprise, but I think you might prove a few people wrong. I'm going to go out there with my decision.
I think Alex HD's just been thinking what I've been thinking of. Just been thinking about Toby Rowland-Jones. Yeah. So good about him. He started so well. But for me, biggest scorer has to be Root. Over the 5 tests, he'll do it simply. Obviously, Vince is going to be the biggest scorer at the moment, isn't he? But
yeah, I think just about.
Yeah, just about. And yeah, I'd agree with Cautious Paul. Wicket taker with Anderson, obviously, I agree with you there. With the run scorer being Joe Root. And yeah, I've final score predictions now, Joe. Obviously, I went with 5-0 beforehand. I'm going to change that a little bit now and go with 3-1 to Australia. Australia will still win, but I think in one test we will turn them over, and possibly that might be the next test. And if we do that in the next test, then that gives us a bit of motivation to go into the third test. But if we go into the third test 2-0 down, motivation's going to be a bit low, and it's not. But Alex tips Vince to do also the same as you, Joe. So yeah, score prediction for the Ashes series.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-1 as well, Australia. I predicted, like you, 5-0 before it, but I think Adelaide, I think we might do all right. I think We tend to get big scores at Adelaide. I seem to remember Paul Collingwood getting a double century there a few years ago. So that's the sort of player we need. Paul Collingwood still playing. Yeah, so it's the key to another key to the series. I know I've already said the key, but another key is getting Steve Smith out, just as Rivlud said in the chat there, because if you can get him out, that's, you know, leaving Australia very, very short of runs, and I think, what's he doing, Brian Lara? What about him?
That's who we need, Brian Lara.
Yeah, Steve Smith. Once he's out, then I think we can do well. But as yet, we haven't got his wicket yet. I'm going with Freddie Flintoff's prediction of England winning it 3-2. I mean, it's ambitious to think that all 5 Test matches will have a result, but I like it. I like it if we do get that. 2-1 Aussies from FCN Sports 360. Rivlud's technique is so unorthodox, but yet his form is amazing. He's played 56 tests and averages 60. What's Root's average? His mustn't be far off that. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little bit of research in the middle of the, well, near the end of the stream. Standard Joe mentions that 68-year-old Durham captain. There you go. He's not quite 68. He might be 67, but 68 is a bit harsh. So Joe Root averages 53 from 61 tests, so it's not too bad. Over 50 is not to be sniffed at. So yeah, that's Joe Root for you. We'll have a couple of more questions. Would you rather face Glenn McGrath or Mitchell Starc?
Starc.
Yeah. I was thinking of what that question meant. Yes, I would rather face Starc. McGrath was amazing. What about Joss Butler? He hits a lot of 50s. Not in tests, though. Not in tests. It is totally different, isn't it? 53, 35. I'm assuming that's Joe Root's average. So yeah, a lot of people saying Starc. Let's scroll up and pick a random question. What do you think of Mark Wood being possibly called up? I don't see how they can call people up midway through the series. I don't think that's a thing unless there's an injury. So I guess if Anderson gets injured, then that might be a thing. But they'd probably go for Stephen Finn. I feel like Wood has been a little bit untested at test level. So he's probably not going to get picked. Anyway, we've got a couple of more score predictions. 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw, says Cricket Chat. I guess England would be retaining the Ashes then, so I think they'd be quite happy with that. Overall England performance, 3 out of 10 from Great Jamie. Pops in right at the end to give some more star ratings. Capitulate like normal in the second innings against Australia, just so poor. Rivlud, Virat Kohli scores another double century, make that number 5. That is quite amazing. Ashwin, fastest to 300 test wickets. They can call Mark Wood up. Oh, they can, okay. Stephen Finn's injured, okay. Didn't know that. Yeah, any final thoughts there, Tobias? He'll love me for that. He'll love me for that.
Just the one last question. I think we're going to leave it with this. And it's from Alex number 1. Ashes Q&A. How long does Anderson have at top level? Well, if you go by Joe's cricket captain series, a long time, but he's got enough time. Let's not focus on Anderson just yet, you know. Anderson, you know, good boy, good dog. He's a good, reliable chap, and I don't think we can talk about him going yet. But, yeah, second test. What does everyone think before we go? Second test. I'm going to go with an England win. Whatever that happens, it might just be the 1 run, I don't care. Apparently, well, Rivlud can't see England winning a test. Suppose not, but I think we will. I think we'll win the second test, and then obviously we'll lose 2 of the next 3, just because I've said it was 3-1 to Australia. But it'll be interesting this series, well, and I think we've kind of exhausted everything now. So yes, good dog, Bellix, absolutely.
Yeah,
good dog. Yeah.
So Finn's apparently gone home injured. Anderson at the top level, I reckon he's got a couple of years at least. Cautious ball, second test draw. Have we got any more predictions in there? Australia win inside 4 days. That would be quite quite something. That was something rare about this test. It actually went to 5 days, which is not something you get that long, that much. I don't know what I'm trying. You don't get that much anymore, is what I'm trying to say. Belloc says, an England win, do well at Adelaide. Marusha said something about cricket, ? It's been deleted by a mod. How dare he? How dare he? England win by 6 wickets. That's very specific. Win by 67 runs, even more specific. Yeah, I think an England win. I think we'll score 450 in the first innings, around about that. I think Root will get a century. I think we'll get a few 50s. I think Cook will get a 50. And we'll bowl quite well, and yeah, we'll probably win by about 100, 150 runs, I think. I think that's a fair... so it was TIJ that deleted the comment. I thought it was Cautious Paul that deleted it. Yeah. Marusha quite rightly says, what?
He questioned the cricket, and this is all about cricket.
Well, don't delete his comments. He's all right.
All right.
He's no
Get your hair on.
He watched Caribbean cricket before on BT Sport. There you go. England couldn't score 400 in the first test, I know, but they might score in the second. How on earth will they score 400 in the coming test? I mean, the first test isn't representative of what's going to happen in the rest of the series. I agree the pitch was probably batting friendly because that's why we batted first, but even in hand missed up what we are going in a minute. I don't know. I think England will score 450 in the next series. I might even stick a tenner on it, and we'll see what happens.
Next series, I blooming hope so.
Yeah, harsh moderation from Tobias. There we go. We'll leave it on that note then, from good old Cautious Paul. Thank you all for coming along. We really do appreciate it. We've got 20 likes on we have got that one dislike. I bet you that's Cautious Paul, you know. I bet you it is. We've got 20 people watching at the minute. Thank you very much for watching today. We will be doing these for all 5 Ashes test matches. I can't promise that it'll all be on the day after, if you like, but we'll see what we can do, and we'll try and make these bigger and better, and maybe have a look at doing a regular podcast after Christmas, but that's a bit of an exclusive for you guys. Let us know what you think about that in the chat, but if you have enjoyed and you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, and let us know what you think down in the comments. If you're watching this as a video, what do you think of the first test performance? What do you think is going to happen in the rest of the series? Score predictions, etc, etc. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all from me. You got anything else to add, Toby?
Good day, I suppose.
Well,
no, to say goodbye, but it's alright.
It's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Ta-da.